Hey, welcome back. And we also welcome back John Gordon. He's the host of the syndicated radio show, The Truth with John Gordon. He's a graduate from Mercer University Law School in Georgia, a business owner and entrepreneur, works as a journalist and reporter, and he ran for the Republican candidate for Georgia's Attorney General in 2022, and even was endorsed by President Trump. Has a website, or actually you can go to youtube.com/John Gordon Truth. And there's a picture of that as well. John, good to see you again. How are you?
Good, Perry. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I only got you for one segment, so I got to hurry up here. How do you think DOGE is performing?
I think it's performing great. You know, they wanted us to believe that there were just a bunch of 20-year-olds in T-shirts, and then Musk has them on an interview, and these are all accomplished entrepreneurs who are working for free for the benefit of every U.S. taxpayer. I think it is a wonderful gesture on their part and a selfless gesture, and they don't deserve the bad press that they're getting very unfairly, in my view.
Do you think we're presenting the fat and the fraud carefully enough where the people understand what the problem really is?
Well, I think we've presented the fat and the fraud that we've discovered so far, but what we don't know is what we don't know, and that's what is happening right now. I think that I think they'll be very transparent because they want this to be successful. They want to stem the extreme government spending that has thrown us into the worst inflation that I can remember, and it's got to be fixed, and so does the deficit spending. Scott Bessent and the Secretary of Commerce have said, let's balance the budget. We're not going to get there just by raising taxes. The American people will revolt. That's not going to happen.
Okay, so we're going down this road. I mean, we're actually looking at the American balance sheet as a business. You have to cut expenses and raise revenue. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's how you fix a problem here. I think we all suspected fat and fraud, but I think we're shocked at the numbers. I mean, shocked at the numbers. If they discover the fat and fraud and we just stop funding it, I mean, I don't know if we could ever recoup it, but if we just stop funding the fat and the fraud, that's a huge savings, isn't it?
Well, Musk says it's $1 trillion that he's going to identify between now and September, and the last I read, he's at 150 billion. So they're well on the way after 100 days, and I suspect that they will accomplish the mission. But the revenue is going to come from tariffs. It is also going to come from a huge windfall when you take people off of the unemployment rolls and get them employed and paying taxes. I mean, Trump is literally remaking the U.S. economy, and they've got commitments of something like $9 trillion of investment pledged in the United States over the next 4 years. That is going to usher in the golden age if nothing else happens. And then you couple that with the advent of the humanoid robot, which will cure any labor shortage that there is. I mean, I don't think that when you go to a restaurant in the future, you'll be talking to a person. I think you'll be talking to a humanoid robot that looks like a person, that will have artificial intelligence, that can take your hamburger order with no mustard and hold the onions. And I think that it is just going to be something that we've never even contemplated. Just for Tesla's humanoid robot, the revenue is projected to be $1 trillion of new revenue just for that one company.
Okay, so one of the complaints, obviously, of not only cutting the fat and the fraud out, but also just cutting the overhead in employment. You're putting a lot of people on unemployment. Where does this balance out?
Well, it balances out in just what I was saying. The investment that has been committed already of $9 trillion is going to create all sorts of employment. You can start with the thousands, tens of thousands of construction jobs that it will create. You've got Apple committing $500 billion. That's $500 billion, and 100,000 new jobs when they move production here out of China and India. And I think that is very exciting, and we'll cure the unemployment problem that this country is facing right now at 4%. which is at a historically high rate. You typically full employment is considered to be 3.3%. Doesn't take much to get there, and then the revenue will increase from the taxes on those wages.
So the president is seemingly, the tariff thing is slowly working itself out. What's your view on how he should handle China?
I think China's a whole different story. If you've read Peter Schweitzer or General Robert Westmoreland, Robert, it'll come to me. He's got a book called Stealth War. We are literally at war with China right now, and nary a shot has been fired, nor do I believe will be if we continue on the present course that Biden allowed to happen. But just look at the facts. You had spy balloons traversing our country, hovering over our most sensitive military and nuclear sites. You've got 150,000 military fit Chinese men that have crossed the southern border that are living inside the United States borders as we speak. I'm sorry, that is an army. And then you have got a flood of fentanyl and a lot of this DEI and a lot of the dissension that has been started in this country is believed to have been stirred up by China. They're doing everything that they can to disrupt our country and our economy. They've also gotten their tentacles into our leaders. Many of our leaders have strong business ties with China, including Elon Musk, by the way, which is the only thing I worry about with Elon is that he is so heavily dependent on China. 90% of our pharmaceuticals come from China, and they have bought 100,000 acres of farmland around our military bases. This is enough to scare the bejesus out of, it should scare the bejesus out of every living American. And we've got to decouple from China. And that's part of the Trump strategy. Pfizer, J&J and other pharmaceuticals companies have announced new plants inside the United States to manufacture our own drugs. This is not a good thing. It is an essential thing if we're going to maintain our national security.
John, there was a case a couple of months ago where Missouri sued China for false data relative to COVID. It was billions of dollars, and they won. Now, China didn't show up in the courtroom, they didn't defend their position, and they have no intention of paying it. So that left Missouri with the idea of, all right, we'll confiscate your assets in the state. We're going to take your land. We're going to take your buildings. We're going to take anything else that you own in the state. We're going to take it. It seems to me that is an open door to get China out of the ag business in America.
I agree with you, and I celebrate it. It's time for us to stop getting kicked around by China, and just the arrogance of not even showing up for court and putting on a defense shows you what we're dealing with. And I think that the strategy is brilliant. Confiscate the land. If you're going to own land in this country, you're subject to the laws of this land. And if you don't want to play by our rules, tough, we'll take the property back. I love it.
One other quick thing before I run out of time, leaning on your law interest. These injunctions coming from these district judges to the Trump administration, they have become obvious now what they are. Do you think the Supreme Court will literally weigh in and stop this nonsense, or just play ball with it?
Look, they better, and they better follow the law and the Constitution in doing so. The judges are usurping the power of a branch of government. You've got the judiciary, you've got the legislative branch, and you have the president. And a judge in Peoria has no business tampering with the orders and the work of the president of the United States. Now, if the president of the United States truly steps over the line and infringes on someone's civil liberties and their rights, then the courts have every reason and justification for being involved. But to tell the President of the United States that he cannot order mass deportations of illegal immigrants who are living in this country unlawfully and committing carnage against American citizens, in my view, is sheer unadulterated lunacy. And I think that those judges need to be impeached. But let's follow the law. I mean, let's follow a legitimate process to hold them accountable. And start registering bar complaints and whatever else we can do.
Okay, I'm just wondering why that's not happening. Why hasn't the Supreme Court seen the emergency impact of this interfering with the executive branch and stopped it?
I totally agree with you, and frankly, Perry, I don't have an answer for you on it, other than, the judiciary, the Supreme Court, as one of their guiding principles, is reluctant to issue any order that they fear they cannot follow, they cannot enforce, and that might be holding them up. They are, I don't know. There is some timidity there, and I don't know what the source of it is or where it's coming from. But
all right,
every American needs to jump on board to get this country back on the right path.
Hey, good to see you. Sorry we only had one segment today. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out his show. That's the youtube.com @JohnGordonTruth. That is where you can check it out and be a part of his program there. Thanks, John, for your time. Stay in the fight, buddy.
Thank you, Perry. My pleasure.
Yeah.